What I want to demonstrate in this video is me riding, trying to demonstrate common problems that I see when I'm watching from the sidelines and certainly when I'm instructing. One of the most common, as you can see here, is at the rise trot. And when people transfer their weight from their seat to their feet, you get a pendular effect, and the vector setup of the weight-bearing transfer will cause the lower leg to swing away from the horse as you rise. Very common problem, but it can be changed by training the lower leg stability through a movement pattern. The second problem that's very common, instead of the leg swinging away, it swings as a loop or it swings backwards or forwards. Again, the leg becomes a pendulum and the pendulum moves, and it has to be stabilized through the lower leg. You can train this, and it's just a matter of practicing it. But this is a very common problem that you see a lot of riders having. Here, instead of the leg swinging back, it's just being pushed forward, which is causing me to tilt my body far too forward. My shoulders are going up and forward, and I'm trying to rise too high. So my leg becomes straight, there's no knee bend, and this will cause riders to actually hold more through the reins or actually carry their hands. There is a swing, and the swing can be forwards or backwards. Here I'm pushing my weight backwards towards the horse's hind legs. My ankle has remained in the correct position, but because my leg's too far back and the weight is going down through my lower leg to the horse's hind legs, again it's pushing me forward. A very unstable position in the rising trot, very uncomfortable for the horse because you're moving. Now here at the canter, I've blocked my pelvis by tilting my body forward. This is a common problem in riders with a very stiff back or with back pain, and again has to be trained out of the saddle, because if you don't have the flexibility to be able to tilt your pelvis, then you're not going to be able to canter well. Here, instead of the movement being taken tilting forward, my legs are jammed forward, and this has completely blocked the movement of my pelvis, and you can see my hands are having to counterbalance. Again, a lot of riders tend to pull on the reins for the balance. The leg's too far forward, and again very stiff through the spine. Now this time, instead of blocking the pelvis, I've got a very upright, erect upper body, and you can see with that, again, the pelvis is not very movable, and my seat is bouncing out of the saddle and then landing back in the saddle. You can also see my elbows following that movement up and out of the saddle. Again, very uncomfortable for the horse and often will result in back pain for the horse. Here I have put my legs too far back, although they're swinging, but I've anchored my balance through my reins. The mare's nose has now come in a little bit behind the vertical. I'm anchored through the reins and trying to jam again my hands closer to my body, which has disturbed my upright posture. And if you're jammed in one or blocked in one part of your body, you'll have excess movement in another part. Now here I've put my seat heavy in the saddle. I've leaned into my saddle far too far back. Again, a very common problem. You see riders hooling into their seat and throwing their upper body back. Now my lower leg hasn't got the stability and swings forward. So again, very uncomfortable for the horse, jamming your weight into the saddle and swinging the lower leg. Head's tilted up and elbows are flapping as well. Now here my legs are just jammed forward. My elbows are flapping, again trying to balance, and I've completely blocked my pelvis again. So one of the most common problems at canter is, even though it's a lovely pace to ride, people block their pelvis simply because they can't balance between their lower leg and their hands and their seat. Now here I've actually got it all right, just cantering with Nice movement, hands just comfortably soft in front of me, lower leg stable, staying in the saddle, counter movement forwards and backwards with the mare's movement, got her on a soft contact and really just enjoying the ride. So I hope that's been helpful. If you've identified one of your problems, certainly send me a message and we'll see what we can do. All of these problems can be trained out.